Hello everyone, it's Rebecca from Chloe's Creative Cards, and today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful gingerbread village scene Christmas card. So to get started, I have taken a scalloped edge craft card blank, and then I have taken one of the pieces of pattern paper from the paper pad and I've trimmed that down to 7.5 inches square. So I'm going to fix this onto the card using some 3mm foam pads. So I'll just grab some of those. I'm just going to apply some of the foam pads just to the back of the piece of paper, like so. And just whip the backs off those. There we go. And I'm just going to stick that into the centre. So I've then taken another piece of pattern paper from the paper pad with some of the gingerbread shapes on this one. So again, I'm going to stick that onto my card using some foam pads again. Just applying those just to the back, like so. Get the backs off those. And then I'm going to stick that onto there. Okay, that piece was cut to 7.25 inches square. So I've then taken a piece of craft card, and this time I've cut this one to 6 3/4 inches square. And again, I'm just going to fix that using some foam pads again. Love a bit of dimension on these cards. Again, you could stick those layers totally flat if that's what you wanted, and especially if you're posting, then obviously flat layers is much better. It will cost you less to post. So again, just taking the backs off those and then sticking that into the centre. I then got a piece of crystal white pearl card, and I've cut this one to 6.5 inches square. And I'm just going to stick that one on using some Collal all-purpose glue. So I'll just apply a bit of that to the back of here, and then stick that one onto there, like so. Okay. Then I've cut some hills, I've ripped some hills really. So I've cut another piece of that crystal white pearl card to the 6.5 inches square. Sorry, just 6.5 inches across this way, because we're going to rip some hills from it. So, and then just going to tear across the card like so. Okay, now where you can see the ripped edge, it makes it look more snowy like. So I'm going to stick that to there like so. So again, I'm going to stick on some foam pads, just placing these at the bottom of the snow because it allows us then to tuck anything in behind. I'm just going to stick those, put one onto the bottom, and again, apply those foam pads towards the bottom and stick that one onto there as well. Okay. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp out some of our lovely snowy tree. Okay, so I've got my snowy tree here mounted onto an acrylic block, and I'm going to take a piece of crystal white pearl card. So you can use crystal white, or actually you can just use some plain white. So I'm just going to use some plain white because we're going to colour them anyway, so this will work fine. So all I'm going to do is just dust over with an anti-static rag, just to remove any fingerprints, and then I'm going to carefully stamp out. So you're going to need 3 of these trees. I've already got some prepped, just so that they were dry, ready to use onto our card. But I'll show you exactly how I did those. So I've just covered that in some Wow Clear embossing ink. I'm just going to stamp that out. And I'm going to just grab in some scrap paper, and I'm going to cover that with some Mercury glass wow powder, just like so. Okay, I'll just pour this back into the pot. And then I'm just going to heat this up with my heat tool. A little bit at the bottom there. Okay. Then I'm going to use the dye that matches. I'm just going to place that over the image and secure that into place with some low tack tape. Okay. So I'm just going to line that up. Secure it into place with some tape. Just going to trim around that so I don't need that whole piece of card. And I'm just going to run that through our die cutting machine. So I'm going to take my base clear cutting plate. I'm going to take my plastic shim. I'm going to put the die facing up with the cardstock on top, and then I'm going to put my clear cutting plate on top. And I'm just going to run that through my Gemini machine. Just wait for that to come out the other side. And then we'll carefully just remove our tray from the die. Okay, those away. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to colour this tree in using some green markers. So I'm just going to use a paler green. Grab my pens. We'll just grab those. I'm just going to use this lighter green colour, I think. See what this one, we'll just check on here what this looks like. I'm just going to use this colour. It's quite a paler green colour, but any kind of green you want. Oh, I'll use this one, I think, which is lime green G21. So I'm just going to apply this all over the tree. So I'm not doing any shading, any blending or anything like that. I'm just applying it all over the tree. So we're going to glitter on top of this. So again, don't worry too much about colouring. Just adding a little bit of colour, and it just allows so that if you miss any areas with the glue, then it won't show if there's a missing part of glitter there, because you'll have that green coming through from underneath. So it's just a great way to hide any mistakes. Okay, so like so, just coloured it in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Dries Clear PVA glue, and I'm just going to infill all of these different parts, and I'm just going to the lines. I'm not gluing it as one big block. I'm gluing it in sections, okay? So just up to the lines and down to the lines at the bottom, and then I'm going to cover it with our Sugared Lime Sparkelicious glitter, okay? I'm just going to pour that over. Again, I'm going to do the next section. Again, just go into the lines, infilling those different parts on that tree. Like so, cover that in glitter. I'm going to do the next section. As so. And again, cover it with glitter. And the next section. And you're just going to do this all the way up for the whole tree and for 2 other trees as well. Okay, now I've got some that I've already done, just so that the glue and glitter was dry, so that then I wasn't putting my fingers in it. So there I've done 3 little trees, all stamped and embossed in Mercury glass foil powder, coloured in, and then dry as clear PVA, and then sugared lime Sparkelicious. Okay, and these are just going to form the extra parts of the scene on the card. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our gingerbread village, or gingerbread street, sorry. So I've just mounted that onto an acrylic block, and I'm just going to take again some of that white card. I'm just going to give it a little dust over with the anti-static and a little tap, and then I'm just going to stamp this one out using a VersaFine Onyx Black ink pad. So I'm just going to ink up our stamp, lots of light tapping. It's nice and easy to see with the black ink where they've been. So again, just going to cover that in ink, and I'm just going to stamp that out onto our white card. Just going to stand up with this one being such a large image. I find it a little bit easier just to stand up when you're kind of pressing the image down. It just gives you a little bit more even pressure, so that you don't miss parts on the stamp. And again, just take your time, just making sure that all of those little parts on the house have been kind of pressed onto the card. Like so. And if we lift that away, then we've got that beautiful gingerbread street image. Okay, I'm then going to take my clear gloss wow powder, and I'm going to sprinkle that all over the gingerbread street image, like so. Get that back into the jar, and then we're just going to heat this up. Again, just waiting for that powder to melt and change, and then carefully moving the heat gun over the image. Now we're going to colour these houses in. So I always like to have some paper underneath, and then I'm just going to colour in. I have pre-done some of these to show you. I'm just going to show you how I did the colouring in on the houses. So I'm just going to grab in my pens I need. Okay, and then again, it's up to personal preference, up to where you want to colour in and things, where you want to start. Don't worry too much about the colouring in. I am going to do a little bit of blending just to show you. But again, it will still look lovely without the blending. Okay, so I'm going to use the pink first. So I'm using RV13 and RV23. Okay, and I'm just going to do a little bit of colouring just onto the stripes on the house. So I'm just applying a little bit of colour at the edges. I'm going to do every other stripe. And don't worry too much about going out the lines. Okay, like so. I'm just going to bring that in a little bit further. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with my RV23, and I'm just going to join those up. I'm going to colour into that part a little bit to give that blend. Like so. And you can see how we've got that slightly darker pink at the edge going into the lighter pink into the centre. Okay. Then I'm going to use one of my blue pens. So I'm going to use B12, and I'm just going to colour in some of these little bits at the top. Like so. And I'm going to use a red. I'm going to use R29. And I'm just going to colour in our little sweeties on the house. I'm just going to colour in the candy canes as well. And then I'm just going to use that same green that we used before, G21. I'm just going to colour in that tree. I'm not going to do any shading because, to be honest, it's probably going to be hidden under the gingerbread girl. There we go. And then I'm just going to colour in the little hearts. I'm going to use 2 of my purples. I'm going to use V15 just to add a little bit of shading at the edge, like so. And then I'm going to use V12 to blend that out. I'm going to take my B12 in the blue again, and I'm just going to colour in all those little jelly beans. Just like so. And then I'm going to take my pinks again, and I'm going to colour the door. So I'm going to take RB13, which I'm going to use first. And I'm just going to apply that just round the edge of the door, like so, just a little bit under the wreath. And then I'm going to blend that out with RB23. And just gives that little bit of shading. Okay, then I'm going to take my G21 again and just colour those little leaves on the wreath. And then I'm going to take Y00, and all I'm going to do is just a little flick inside the windows, just to look as if there's a little bit of light. Okay, I'm going to take B12 again. I'm just going to colour those little bits on the roof, and then I'm going to apply a little bit of that to the heart. And then I'm going to blend that out with B00, like so. Okay, now we've got all of the different parts on the house coloured, so we're now going to colour the gingerbread part, the main part of the house. So to colour the gingerbread, I've used E35, E33 and E31 in the Copic pens. So again, I'm just going to add the darkest colour E35 just to the edges of a few little pieces, like so. And then I'm going to go in with E33 and just blend those in a little bit further. And then with E31. Like so. Again, E35 to start. The outer edges, then E33 to blend that in a little bit further, and then E31 to make that lighter blend. Again, E35, E33 and E31. Okay, I'm going to do the house. So again, in with the E35. This time there's just a few little obstacles in the way, so just carefully going around those little candies on the house. Just going to take that down the side. Okay, then I'm going to go in with my E33. Again, just blend that out a little bit further. Trying my best not to hit those candies. so. Okay, and then with my E31, just to blend it all together. There we go, and then that will be your finished gingerbread house. So again, I'll just do the same thing for the other houses. So again, just using a mixture of all those colours again, just to colour in the next two houses. I didn't use the last house, so I didn't bother colouring that. Okay. Then what I've done is I've added a little bit of dry clear glue, just to little pieces on the house. So I kind of coloured in the pink stripy bits. So I just applied a little bit of glue to that, like so. Again, nothing too perfect, just a little scribble of glue over there. And then I also added just picked up some of those little accent bits, just with the glue, like so. And then I covered that with the Snowball Sparkelicious glitter. So just sprinkled that over, and then once that dries, that will dry clear. Okay, so it will dry clear, and I do have one to show you what it looks like. Okay, so you can see here I've got my 3 houses all coloured up, all sparkly, ready to go on our card. Okay, I'll just move that out of the way. So I think we'll start building the scene, and then we'll do our gingerbread people as well. Okay, so first of all, I took one of the trees and I tucked it in at the back. Okay, not right at the edge, sort of floating around. Okay, and I'm just going to glue that one with our dry as clear glue, because I want that one to be nice and flat. I'm just going to stick that one in there like so. Okay, and I've taken one of my houses and I'm going to stick that again, just carefully tucking it in, but I'm going to stick that one with a foam pad so it comes a little bit further forward from the tree, like so. Okay, I've then taken another one of the trees, and again I've tucked it into this layer this time. Okay, it's a little bit higher, so again I'm going to stick that one with foam pads this time, so it looks a little bit further forward than the other tree. I'm going to stick that in there, and I'm going to take another one of the little houses and again tuck that in next to there and just stick that with a foam pad. And stick that in there like so. And then I've taken my final house and I'm going to stick that one at the front. I might add another little snow layer, I think. I think we'll get a little piece of, another piece of pearl card, and I'm just going to rip that one a little bit further down now, like so. And we'll just measure that up to there, and then I'm just going to carefully cut that away like that. I'll just add that one on, I think. It just needs that extra little layer. But that's the thing with these snow layers as well, none of the cards are going to be the same. Okay, it's just freehand ripping, so they are all going to be different. So I'll just stick that one onto there like so, and then I'm going to tuck that house into that layer. Okay, again just with a foam pad on the back, like so. Okay, my final tree I'm going to tuck into here, so it is going to cover up a little bit of that house, but that's fine. Again, I'm just going to add that on with a foam pad, like so. Might need a double there, I think, that one, just with it being quite far forward, like so. And you can see how it's all starting to come together. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to do the gingerbread people to go onto our card now. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my gingerbread people stamp, which again I've just mounted onto an acrylic block. I'm going to bring in that piece of white card again, give it a little dust over with an anti-static, and I'm going to stamp these out using our VersaFine Onyx Black ink pad again. So again, lots of light tapping over the image, make sure it's nice and covered in that black ink. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp those onto there, lots of light pressing just to make sure that that image transfers. Like so, and I'm going to lift that off, and again I'm going to cover it with clear gloss wow powder. Heat that up. Like so. Okay, and then we're going to colour these in. So again, I'm just going to grab in some scrap paper, and I'm going to colour in the gingerbread man to show you. Okay, so again, I'm using those three colours, E35, E33 and E31. Okay, so I'm just going to concentrate on his face at the moment. So I'm going to go around the edge. I'm going to give him a little flick for where his little hair is, and again, just sort of dragging it round the edge. Okay. And I'm going to go in with E33 and just blend that out a little bit. So just little circular motions just to blend that round. Then I'm going to go in with E31 and again just blend that out. Okay. Again, do his little hands. So E35. E33 and E31, and again his little feet, E35, E33 and E31. Okay, then I'm going to take my E35 pen and I'm just going to carefully go around all of the edges. So carefully following those lines. Okay, and then on the card I've given him some lilac trousers. I'm going for a very sugary themed gingerbread card this time. So I've used V15, V04 and V12. Okay, so I'm going to go in with V15 first. And again, just our darkest colour, just going to apply some of that underneath where his jumper's going to be, down the side of his legs, and then a little bit to the centre as well. Okay, then I'm going to go in with V04. I'm just going to blend that out. So I'm going to go over the first colour and then drag it a little bit further into the centre. And just find that helps with our blending. Then I'm going to go in with our V12 and I'm just going to blend that all together. So circular motions all over that image. And you can see how that just blends it all. Again, just going over those other colours just to create that seamless blend, like so. Then giving him a blue jumper, so I'm going to use B93, B12 and B00. These are all just kind of colours that I've just picked from our pack, so again, it could be any colours. If you want to do blues, just, you know, 3 blues that will blend together. like so. Just adding that dark colour to the edges. Then I'm going to go in with B12, and again I'm just going to go over that colour but drag it into the centre a little bit more. And then I'm going to go in with our lightest colour, which is B00, and just blend that all together. Like so. And then I'm going to give him a pink dicky bow. So I'm going to use RV13 and RV23. So I'm going to go in with RV13 first, just applying that darker colour, and then I'm going to go in with the other colour just to blend that out a little bit. Okay. Now I haven't done anything with these little cuffs because I'm going to glitter those. Okay, so I would die cut him out using our coordinating dies. Again, I've just coloured the girl exactly the same technique, but I've given her a pink dress with lilac arms and little blue leggings. Okay, I'm just going to take my die and I'm just going to lay that over the top, and I'm going to stick that into place with some low tack tape. Just like so. So I'm just going to run that through my Gemini machine. I'm just going to grab my base plate, my plastic shim, and then I'm going to pop that on, die facing up, like so, then a clear plate on the top, and run that through. And then just wait for that to come out the other side. So again, I would do the same with the gingerbread girl as well. I've just got some pre-done to show you, just so that they were dry. So I'm just going to show you on the gingerbread man, just to show you what I've done. So I then used some glitters to glitter him up. So I'm just going to cover his short, his trousers in some dry clear glue. So again, just applying that all over his trousers like so. And then I'm going to cover that in sugared lilac. And then I'm going to add some glue to his jumper. Like so. And round his buttons. And then I'm going to cover that in sugared blue. Go. And then I'm going to add a little bit of glue to his dicky bow. And I'm going to cover that in Pink Perfection. Pink Perfection or Sugared Pink, both would work perfectly. I'm just going to try and... It would be good to leave each section to dry, but obviously just for showing you on the video today, I'm doing them all together, but just then you don't contaminate any of the colours. And then that would be your glittered up gingerbread man. Once all of that's dry, I would then go in and add some glue to his cuffs. Like I've got one here that's dry, so I'll show you his cuffs now. So I'm just going to, again, just apply some of that dry clear glue just onto there. And then I'm going to cover that in some Snowball. There it is. Cover that in Snowball. There we go. And again, I've got one of the girl gingerbread men done as well. So I'm just going to, again, apply a little bit of glue to the cuffs on here. so if I could pick her up, and then again just cover that in Snowball. There we go. Just move him to the side. Okay, now that they're glittered up, they're ready to stick onto our card. So again, I'm just going to kind of position where I think I would like her, and then I'm going to add some foam pads to the back. Just grab some more foam pads. It's in half, and I'm just going to stick them onto here. I'm going to give her a double layer of foam pads, so she stands out from the house. Okay, and then I'm going to stick him on as well. And he's going to go about here, I think. I'm going to tuck him in. I'm just going to move those foam pads up, I think. Stick them to the back of him instead. Just trying to avoid that wet glue. And then I'm going to tuck him in. So you could also do that with 3D glue gel as well, whichever you prefer to use. Okay, now we've got our base kind of village scene done, so I'm just going to go in and just where those snowy bits are, I'm just going to add some little bits of Dry's clear glue. Oh, doesn't help, it's fallen off. And just scoop that off there and get rid of that piece of paper. Just going to clean my nozzle, because there must be a bit of an air bubble in there somewhere. There we go. Okay, try again. So gently apply some glue just around, and then we're going to cover that in. Oh, we're going to use Frosty Christmas this time. So I'm just going to sprinkle that over. A little bit in there. A little bit around here. There we go. And then that just gives that lovely snowy effect on the ground. And just grounds those gingerbread people a little bit. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to jazz it up a little bit with all of our wonderful little candies. So I'm just going to tip some of these out onto here. And I'm going to add to these little trees, this one here and this one here. I'm going to add just some dots of glue, and I'm going to add some little gingerbread men to it. I'm just carefully placing those onto those dots of glue, like so. You can go to town with these, you can add as many or as few as you like. You get loads in the packet. It just looks so cute. Okay, and then this one at the back, I'm going to add on those little red sweeties. I'm going to add some of those to the houses as well, just to jazz those up as well a little bit. Add one to his bow, one to her bow. There we go. We're just stopping those on where you've put the glue. so I just need one for his bow and one for her bow. I'm just going to move her over a little bit. She seems to be not sticking too well on there. It's better. Okay. Then I've just added a few of those little candies into the background as well. So again, just a couple of blobs of glue and add on those little candies, like so. And then I have used some of the candy canes and tucked them in behind our layers of snow. So I'm going to take one of the red ones and I'm just going to add some PVA glue to the back. Carefully turn it over and I'm just going to tuck that in behind there. I'm going to add one of the little rainbow ones again. Generous amount of glue on the back, and I'm going to stick that to the snow down here. And then I'm going to take a multicoloured one. I'm just going to tuck that in up there, just behind her head. Like so. And then I'm going to take one of the red ones as well. And just position that there. Okay. Then to finish off the card, I'm going to stamp out one of the sentiments. I'm just going to pop these candies back in the bag for now. And then just use this, and then I'm going to get some of my craft card as well. And I've taken the little sentiment that says gingerbread kisses and Christmas wishes. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp over, I'm just going to dust over, sorry, with an anti-static bag, just that top corner. And I'm going to ink up this stamp. Oh, I've got a little gingerbread man there. Move him out the way. I'm just going to ink this up, lots of light tapping all over the image. Sometimes I quite like to dip it in the ink as well. Like so. And then we're just going to stamp that down. And I'm going to use some opaque bright white to stamp over that. There we go. And then I'm going to heat that up. I'm just going to take out my small guillotine and I'm just going to let that cool off a second. And then I'm going to trim around this. Like so. Just carefully trimming around. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that onto a piece of crystal white pearl card. I'm just going to use some Dry's clear glue for this. And just so it's got a small border. And then again, I'm just going to take my guillotine and I'm just going to thin border around the edge, like so. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply a little bit of Dry's clear glue just to that white section. Okay, and then I'm going to take my Snowball Sparkelicious. I'm just going to sprinkle that over the edge. and it just ties it all together and gives that sentiment a sugary look. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to stick that into the top corner of my card on a foam pad. I'm just popping the foam pad on it being wet, and then I'm just going to stick that sentiment on there like so. Okay, then I'm going to tie a triple bow using some of our sugared lilac ribbon. So again, just going to fold that over my first finger and hold it with my other fingers, my thumb, sorry, and then I'm going to put it around my third finger, around my first finger, around my third finger, around my first finger, and around my third finger. And then I'm going to put the tail underneath that thumb. I'm going to grab this section, I'm going to pull it all the way around. Okay, and then I'm just going to trim off a little bit there. Then I'm going to carefully thread that through. Hope you can see that. And then I'm going to pull. Okay. Pull to make those tails on the bow. Okay, and then I'm going to slide it off my fingers. And there we've got that lovely triple bow. So I'm just going to trim the edges. And that's going to get stuck up here. So I'm just going to grab my 3D glue gel. We've got a little bit of a blockage. There we go. Just get rid of that. Okay, I'm just going to add a little blob onto the corner like so. I've got very sticky fingers now. I'm just going to stick that little bow onto the corner, and then I'm going to add one of those lovely candies to the centre. Just grab one of those, and I'm going to use a pink one. And again, just apply a little bit of 3D glue gel, sorry, just to the back, like so, and add that to the centre. Okay, and then finally, all I did was to finish off the card was just added a few tiny little dots just into the background, like so, just to give it that snow look. And then took some Crystallina glitter and sprinkled that over. Oh, I've just realised I missed the tree. Didn't finish adding my candies to the tree. So we'll just add a few of those in. So we'll just add a few of those little red candies, just that top tree where I've missed them off. I don't know what happened there. Glue's still wet, so we can add those on. Like so. There we go. And then the last thing we need to do is just add some little pearls from our candy bling box just to the gingerbread outfits. I'm just going to add some little blobs of glue. I'm going to add a little blue one to each of them, and 2 little blue ones, and 3 little pink ones. Like so. I'm just going to add that blue one to the centre, pink one and a pink one. I'll add a little pink one to there and a blue one. And that would be your finished card. Just think this looks so super cute and super Christmassy. So I really hope you've enjoyed our demo today. Thank you for watching. As always, all of the products will be available to buy on www.chloescreativecards.co.uk, and there will be a full product list in the description below so you can see which things you'd like to get. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.